the Hollywood Unapologetic Podcast with Orlando Delbert, Filmmaking Essentials. So we have to kick off with a profound question for you, the aspiring content creators, the filmmakers listening with the new Hollywood generation. When the star of the next big blockbuster needs no salary, never gets tired, and has literally zero human boundaries, what's the economic future look like for human actors, for creative professionals?
That really is the core dilemma, isn't it? And it's not some far-off sci-fi idea anymore. The sources we've been digging into, they show this massive, commercially driven shift happening right now in entertainment.
We're past the tipping point, you think?
Oh, definitely. The market's already reacting. The immediate flashpoint, the thing that really got everyone talking, was the introduction of this AI-generated actor, Tilly Norwood.
Right. That was at the Zurich Film Festival recently. Sequoia, the AI talent studio founded by Eli van der Velden, they premiered this synthetic performer. And it wasn't just, oh, look, cool tech. It sparked immediate controversy.
Yeah. Controversy is putting it mildly. I mean, reports suggest multiple major studios, even talent agents, the very people supposed to represent human actors, are apparently rushing, or at least exploring how, to sign this non-human thing.
That's the collision, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The studio drive for efficiency, for cost-cutting, smashing right into these huge debates about consent, intellectual property, who owns creativity.
And the future of human work in this field. It's genuinely shocking to hear about agents potentially representing something that fundamentally undermines their human clients' jobs.
So how do the actual humans react? The labor side.
Swiftly and very clearly. SAG-AFTRA, the actors union, put out a statement almost immediately. Super firm, basically. Tilly Norwood is not an actor, period.
Which takes us straight back to their big strike in 2023, doesn't it? AI protections were right at the heart of that whole thing.
Absolutely a core issue, non-negotiable for them. And the reaction from individual actors, it was visceral. Actress Melissa Barrera, she was very public, calling for actors to actually drop any agent who signs AI talent. She said something like, how gross, read the room.
You can feel that sense of betrayal, can't you?
Definitely. And look, if you want to understand why studios are interested, despite the backlash, you just have to look at the horrifying efficiency and control an AI performer offers.
Horrifying efficiency. Explain that.
Well, we saw this really chilling example mentioned in the sources. A Reddit comment apparently referenced an ad for Tilly Norwood, and it explicitly said the AI doesn't need to consent to romantic scenes.
Wow. That's incredibly disturbing. It just blurs the line between creating something and, frankly, exploiting it.
Exactly. The lack of consent is presented almost as a feature. Another producer was quoted saying something like, she'll do anything I say, I'm already in love. It's this ultimate power fantasy for some executives, isn't it?
A performer with no demands, no fatigue, no boundaries, just compliance.
It reduces the whole creative relationship to pure instruction following, and this feeds right into that bigger economic threat that scholar Jonathan Taplin talks about. He calls it the algorithmic economy.
Right, we've always had huge movie stars earning massive paychecks. How is this algorithmic economy different for the average working actor or crew member?
The difference, Taplin argues, is that the algorithm inherently narrows the funnel. Think about it. In the old system, you needed a pretty broad middle class of working actors, writers, crew, just to staff all the different projects being made.
Okay.
The algorithmic economy, though, it's driven by recommendation engines, by data analysis. It concentrates the money, the resources on what the data says are proven, predictable winners.
So instead of spreading the work around, the algorithms push investment towards the guaranteed blockbusters, or now potentially these hyper-efficient synthetic performers.
Precisely. You end up with these outsized paychecks for a few established human stars, the ones deemed algorithmically safe bets. But everyone else, the majority of performers, writers, crew, they find that funnel squeezed incredibly tight.
Because the alternative is always there.
The alternative is always lurking. An AI that does it faster, cheaper, without complaint. It doesn't just replace one person's job, it fundamentally weakens the bargaining power of almost everyone below that very top tier.
Okay, to really get our heads around this threat, we need to understand why this generative AI is so different from, say, the digital effects Hollywood's been using for decades. It's not just CGI, right?
Absolutely crucial distinction. Traditional CGI, computer-generated imagery, that's a process of intense, detailed digital craftsmanship. You're manually building everything from scratch.
Like digital sculpting.
Exactly. 3D models, rigging the skeletons, painting textures, simulating physics and light. It requires teams of highly skilled, often highly paid artists working for weeks, months sometimes. You get incredible precision, but it takes time and serious money.
And generative AI.
Generative AI is totally different. It works by recognizing patterns and massive data sets it's been trained on. It's more like a creative amplifier, maybe a shortcut. You give it a prompt text and image, and it generates the complex visual content.
On its own.
Pretty much. It can create entire videos, digital actors, complex scenes, sometimes in seconds or hours, without all that painstaking manual construction CGI needs.
And that's the appeal for studios. The speed.
Speed and accessibility. That's the economic rocket fuel here. Think about it. A visual effect tweak, or creating a digital background character that used to take a team a week. Now, maybe it's done in an afternoon or less. It massively lowers the barrier to creating complex visuals.
Makes it perfect for quick turnaround experimentation.
And crucially, for projects with tight budgets, that's a huge driver.
So while Tilly Norwood is grabbing the headlines as the AI actor, our sources are confirming Hollywood is already quietly using AI much more broadly across production.
Oh, absolutely. It's happening now, driven purely by that speed and cost reduction. This isn't future speculation. It's current operational reality for some.
Where? Give us an example.
Okay, look at visual effects, VFX. The human labor cost there is enormous. There's a VFX studio, monsters, alien robots, zombies, MARZ, catchy name. They developed a tool called Vanity AI, and it's specifically for cosmetic VFX, things like de-aging actors, digital makeup, smoothing skin, touch-ups, stuff that normally takes artists a lot of painstaking frame-by-frame work.
And Vanity AI.
It delivers those results, reportedly, 300 times faster than the traditional manual methods. 300 times.
Wow. That number's hard to even process. What does that translate to in savings?
Well, the sources report that this one tool, just Vanity AI, across 27 major productions, including shows you know, like the Paramount Plus series Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, it shaved 100 weeks off production schedules.
100 weeks?
And saved nearly $8 million in costs.
$8 million. That's artist salaries, isn't it? Human jobs.
That's exactly what it is. It's the cost of human labor that's been eliminated. From the studio perspective, it's not an existential crisis. It's a line item reduction, a boost to the bottom line. And this isn't just hitting high-end VFX artists either.
It's moving into other areas.
Way earlier in the process. Pre-production. Think about storyboard artists. You know, the people who sketch out the film scene by scene, like a comic book.
Yeah, the visual blueprint.
Well, now there are AI tools that can generate storyboards that, and this is a quote, literally look like the scene from the movie. They're not just rough sketches anymore. They're near final quality visuals.
So you go from idea to almost final look. How fast?
In minutes now, according to the sources. Compared to days, weeks, sometimes months it could take human artists to iterate, it just makes the whole planning and approval process brutally efficient.
And we're even seeing direct replacement at the lower end of the acting scale. Extras.
Yeah, there are reports of digital replica extras being used instead of hiring human background actors. The Disney Plus movie Prom Pact was cited as an example. And you have to ask, right, if they can replace a background actor with a deepfake today.
What stops them replacing a supporting actor tomorrow? Or even a lead eventually?
Exactly. And that scale, that speed, that increasing precision, that's why the legal system is scrambling. The U.S. Copyright Office put out this really critical report. Their conclusion: new federal legislation is urgently needed.
Urgently needed. Why federal?
To deal specifically with the large-scale, precise creation of these AI-generated digital replicas, deepfakes, basically. The tech is moving way faster than state laws can keep up.
And the report stressed something important, didn't it? That this is just about protecting famous people, like movie stars.
Crucial point. The protections have to cover everyone, all individuals, regardless of how famous you are or whether you make money from your image. Because the tech makes everyone vulnerable now to having their likeness copied and misused.
That's interesting, because you'd assume the big legal fights would be commercial ones, stars fighting knockoffs.
You would, but the reality is starkly different. The most pervasive harm from these unauthorized digital replicas right now, it's actually non-commercial. It's horrific stuff. Explicit images make up something like 98% of all deepfake videos online.
98%.
And 99% of the people depicted in those videos are women.
Okay, wait. If most of the harm is non-commercial harassment, revenge porn, that kind of thing,
yeah,
why can't people sue under the laws we already have?
Because the current legal landscape is a mess. It's a patchwork of state laws, mainly rights of publicity. And many of those laws only cover commercial uses.
Meaning someone trying to sell something using your face.
Right. like putting your image on a t-shirt without permission. If someone creates non-consensual, explicit content using your digital replica, which isn't commercial, it often falls outside the scope of those state laws.
And federal law.
Also, often unhelpful here. Things like the Lanham Act, that's about trademark infringement, commercial misrepresentation. It doesn't really touch these non-commercial, privacy-violating, harassing uses.
So victims are left in this legal gray zone with little recourse, even if the harm is devastating.
Pretty much. It's a totally inadequate patchwork trying to deal with a unified, rapidly evolving technological threat.
So what did the Copyright Office suggest? How do we fix this patchwork?
They made a couple of really critical recommendations, and this is vital for you, the new Hollywood generation listening. They said, federal rights protecting your digital replica, your voice, your image, should be licensable.
Licensable, meaning...
You can grant permission for someone to use your likeness, but under specific conditions. Think guardrails. Informed consent, maybe a limited time period, say 5 or 10 years.
Okay, so you control the permission. And crucially, they also said these rights should not be assignable outright. What's the difference there? Why is that so important?
It's absolutely fundamental. Think of it like renting your house versus selling it forever. If your rights are licensable, you rent out your image or voice for a specific project for a set time for agreed compensation. When the license ends, the rights come back to you. You retain ownership.
But if they were assignable?
If they were assignable, especially for a young actor or creator just starting out, maybe signing their first big contract when they have zero leverage, a studio could potentially buy your entire persona, your voice, your face, your mannerisms, everything, in perpetuity, for a one-time payment buried in a contract.
So you'd lose control completely, forever.
You'd essentially sell your future artistic identity before your career even really begins. The Copyright Office clearly understood that allowing assignment would just pave the way for mass exploitation, stripping artists of their most fundamental asset themselves.
That distinction, licensable versus assignable, feels like the legal battleground for the future of human performers, doesn't it?
It really is. It encapsulates the whole tension, right?
Yeah.
The relentless, measurable, capital-efficient march of technology versus the intrinsic, maybe unquantifiable value of human creativity, human authorship, human identity itself.
And the financial pressure is undeniable. We saw the numbers. AI can deliver realism faster, potentially millions cheaper per project, like with those VFX savings. That changes budgeting, production speed, everything.
And we know that cost-cutting drive is already displacing human jobs. It's not hypothetical.
So we circle back to where we started. We want to leave you, the aspiring new Hollywood generation, really thinking about these stakes now that you've heard the details.
If studios can get cinematic realism faster, maybe $8 million cheaper on just a handful of projects using synthetic actors and AI tools, what is the actual viable economic path forward for human labor in this industry?
And maybe even more fundamentally, if the law struggles to define your unique voice, your image, your very likeness as inherently protected intellectual property, if it's just subject to these inconsistent state laws or potentially assignable contracts, what truly remains yours in this emerging algorithmic economy? You can find more insights on navigating the entertainment industry and achieving success in Orlando Delbert's work, including his book, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical, and of course, the Hollywood Unapologetic platform. And always remember, you are the key to your own success. You are the new Hollywood generation.
Be informed, be prepared, and most importantly, be great.
That's it. Be great. Good luck out there.
See you next time.